definition. This is a series whose terms alternate between positive and negative. So a series whose terms alternate between positive and negative. So here's a couple of examples of what an alternating series. We've actually seen some of these already, but here's an example. Suppose I have the series as I go from -1 to n of 1 over n, and I'm going to start n at 1 and it'll go to infinity. So for this, if I write out a few terms, when n is 1, -1 to the first power, that's negative. And the n in the bottom, that would be -1 over 1 plus, when n is 2, -1 squared is +1. So that would be 1 over 2. The next one would be -1/3, and then +1/4. -1/5 plus ... goes on forever. So there's an alternating series. Here's another example. The sum as n goes from 1 to infinity. This time, if I want the first term to be positive, I would put something like -1, maybe to the n plus 1 or n minus 1. And then I got to pay attention to what n is starting with. It's starting with 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. This first term would be positive. And then I'm going to put n over n plus 1. So times -1 to the n plus 1 times n over n plus 1. What would be the first few terms of this one? Okay, when n is 1, this is positive. It'd be 1 over 2. The second term would be negative, so minus 2 over 3, and then plus 3 over 4, then minus 4 over 5, plus, I'll put the ... at that point. So here are two examples of alternating series. What we'll do is we'll write it or think of it like this. The sum, I'll start this at 1. We can start it at different numbers, but I'll put this starting at 1. Then goes from 1 to infinity. -1, it might be to the n, it might be to the n plus 1, it might be to the n minus 1. You'll see them all kinds of ways here, depending on if the first term's positive or negative. And then times b sub n. So on the two examples I put, on the first one, 1 over n, this was the b sub n. And on the second one, n over n plus 1, that was b sub n on the second.